What's going on, guys? It's your boy ATF Cobra, and today I have a attachment guide for you guys on how to use the suppressor in Battlefield 3. And everybody should know post-patch that the suppressor did get patched or nerfed a little bit, and most people tend to stay away from it. Very rarely do I see people use a suppressor in Battlefield 3, and it's because everybody feels like it's gonna nerf your game, or your accuracy is gonna go down. The only thing the suppressor affects is the spread of your gun and the minimum, or it drops your damage by 1 point for your maximum range damage, which is 17. So your minimum damage, so if your damage is 17, like the M16A3, for the maximum range of 40 meters, it's going to go down to 16. So it's going to drop down by 1 point and increase the spread as well, especially for long range. That's why it feels like the suppressor is actually taking too long to kill your enemy. Another thing is, when you're using the suppressor with the foregrip combination, which was beast before patch, it's going to severely hamper your game, and it's going to feel like you're going to need an entire clip to kill somebody, even from up close, because the foregrip and the suppressor combination increase your spread by way too much, and that entails brings your bullet spread out there. So it's basically like you're hip firing when you're up close or when you're kind of far. That's how much it affects your your gun. So that's why a lot of people don't use it. But what they didn't know is, if you use the suppressor on a better gun, such as the M16A3 or the AEK or something a little bit fast, it's gonna do fairly well. It's gonna do better than actually using it with a worse gun that has a slower fast fire rate. Now, another thing to take note of is that the suppressor does keep you off the minimap, so it makes you sneaky. So a lot of players are not expecting it. They're not going to expect you to run around with a suppressor. So as soon as you do, they'll be like, hey, this guy keeps using the suppressor, so he's going to go for the short range gunfights. So he's going to be ready for that up close and personal action. So now what you want to do to prepare yourself for those medium to long range gunfights that he's going to try and win most of the time, because he knows you have to get up close to him in order to kill him because you're using the suppressor, is that you could use a better gun such as the M16A3, which I highly recommend if you want to go sneaky, or if you want to kind of penetrate your enemy's defenses and get into their spawn or plants in MCON. The M16A3 or the AEK is highly rated. The AEK is probably the better ones, especially for close range and sometimes medium range, but not long range. The M16A3 does beat the AEK long range, especially with a suppressor, even with the minimum damage drop off point loss. So yeah, taking better attachments into games as well will definitely help you guys win with the suppressor. Now, if you use something like the ACOG sight, which with the M4 I kind of used for a little bit, but you really didn't like, only because of the zoom. And the zoom is not bad, I just don't like the way it feels personally. But what it did for me is allowed me to be a lot more accurate long range with a suppressor, and that's what you guys are gonna need. You're gonna be able to actually see your bullet drop when you are firing with a suppressor with the ACOG attachment, which I highly recommend that you guys use. Or if you don't want to go long range at all, or if you don't want to counterbalance that loss for effective range when you're using the suppressor, what I recommend is going with the Cobra sight. The Cobra sight helps you actually see it a lot clearer. So what it does also, it keeps you on target even when you're being hit with the suppression, which is actually probably the thing that causes people to come off aim by a lot, because once you're suppressed and you're using a suppressor, it's incredibly hard to hit your enemy. And I don't know if anybody really noticed it, but once you do actually get suppressed, or you're fully suppressed and you try to shoot somebody when you have a suppressor on, your spread increases dramatically, so you're unable to hit your target. And again, that there entails feels like you're using a whole clip to kill somebody, when it's really not the whole clip. It's really your gun being super inaccurate. So yeah, basically that was my guide on teaching you guys how to use the suppressor in games. I found it really useful, especially for these guys right here. I was running back and forth, and they couldn't catch me, and I was using everything suppressed. And yeah, the sidearm I forgot to talk about. The M1911 suppressed or the M9 suppressed are probably your best bet if you want to stay fully silenced. And those will definitely help you guys win a lot more rush games, because it's going to keep you off the radar if you're not spotted. Because after every kill, or when you shoot your gun, you do show up for about 4 or 5 seconds on the minimap, and when you're spotted, you show up for 7 seconds on the minimap. So yeah, if you do get spotted, or if you do shoot your gun unsilenced, like I said, I highly recommend that you guys kind of stay back, not push too much, because your enemy could be expecting that rush and they're probably gonna end up getting the kill. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this little guide on the suppressor attachment. Not too many people know about it or ever started using it again. But yeah, hopefully you guys do, and it's been your boy